Hey, how y'all doing today? I'm your host, Kilo.
What's going on, y'all? I'm your host, Keiko number 66,
and this is Enjoy Life.
Let us make money, I'm feeding 100, the way I pull up with the bread. I ain't got no wallet, my shot any polish, I pull up to make a deposit. The Lord is my witness, I'm building a business, a couple of minutes, just watch it.
So who is our special guest today?
Alright, today guys, we have a very special guest. She is someone who I consider a close friend and who I consider very knowledgeable. She came all the way out from a deep part of Georgia, the deep south. I'd like to introduce our special guest, Ebony.
Hi. I'm Ebony. I work in consulting, but I like to think of myself as a humanist. I just try to help people be better people. I think it's important that we all just treat each other a little bit better, be a little more patient, a little more kind, and a little more empathetic, because we're all just doing our best.
Absolutely.
I definitely agree with that.
Well, we appreciate you coming through today, Ebony. And our first question for you is, what is your ideal life? And if you could paint a picture for us.
For me, so in my ideal life, I think it's me being surrounded with the people I love. It's us being able to do things that we enjoy. It's us being able to spend time together, meaningful time. Because sometimes I think you gotta get caught up in the rigmarole of your day to day, and you're sitting right next to someone, but y'all are changing all the time and you just kind of don't know. And ideally, we could have the time to spend that time with each other instead of by each other.
How many people do you come across who have that kind of same mindset?
Oh, well, I feel like a lot of people feel like that on the inside, but right now I think everybody's kind of caught up on projecting that versus actually doing it.
And what do you mean by projecting it?
I think you're seeing people take photos and go places together, but when you're actually out, you're seeing people in their phones instead of talking and taking pictures instead of doing the thing, or not eating the food until it gets cold, that kind of thing. And I'm man, I'm just gonna dig in. Hopefully I come back and I'll take a picture next time.
Facts. And I think that's why I have a hard time as far as even when somebody tell me get in front of the camera, I'm so in life that I don't even have time to stop. I'm not gonna say I don't have time, but I'm not used to let me get a picture right. It's just, even when I go to my son's game, graduations, my first thing is not to pick up a phone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's I'm in the moment.
Right.
I'm enjoying the moment, even just engaging with them.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, you said, it can take away from the moment, and did you really get the full maximum experience out of it?
Right.
You know what I mean?
I worry that we need both.
Absolutely. So would you say that family is your ideal life?
In a sense, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm working on finding what is ideal for me alone as well, because I think taking time for yourself, making time for who you are, how you are is important too, and I'm working on that because I can kind of get absorbed in doing things with and for the people around me.
Right. I think a lot of people can too. It's hard to focus on your goals in life and your aspirations, but at the same time, focus on what everybody else needs around you.
Yeah.
But I think when you meld the two together, that's when you kind of come to a new sense of, maybe if I do these things for all the people around me, then those aspirations and goals will get a lot closer.
Yeah.
Because it's more times than not, it's the environment.
Yeah.
And it's the environment that you build up that becomes a sturdy foundation.
Yeah.
For, let's say, a business that you're trying to start, or whatever future goal you're trying to reach. You need a foundation. Otherwise, a house is going to be too shaky.
Yeah, I think there's a saying, if you want to go fast, you go alone, and if you want to go far, you go together. And I think that I might prefer far, but that requires patience, that requires the path, accommodating others, that requires that some of the things that are at the end of fast also exist at the end of far, no matter when you get there. So I think a foundation is important, because what I found is the farther you go, especially financially, the thing that you can't find are all the things that are available to you when you're already where you are. Like, the more you can afford, the harder it is to find the things that you can't buy.
That is so true.
Yeah, so build a foundation while you're here so you can be like locked in, so when you get where you're going, it's like the things you need are still nearby.
Yeah.
What do you think those things can be though? Because, you know, some people may not understand that what you mean by that. So give us some examples of what
Some
you
things
think.
money can't buy.
Yeah.
Oh, like a good joke. Like someone who you enjoy being around, someone to like give you a hug without you having to tell them you need it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes like I think that I mostly just mean like being close with the people you're close with and like having those connections. Because even without me achieving like my ultimate goals, there have been situations where like people are around me for like reasons, and it's not like just me. And I just feel like the more I accomplish, the more that is the case. So the people who like really know me and love me, and they can tell the difference between when I'm smiling because I'm supposed to versus like when I'm actually feeling bad, or like they know to just, you know, they know what I'm going through.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's what I mean. Because when you get far enough, you can't buy that. You can't find that. And everybody's going to tell you, I'm so genuine. I care about you so much. And you can't confirm that until like you have some kind of downfall or until you set a boundary. And then you figure out like, oh, okay, I see what's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not to be ill-intentioned. But that's kind of how people move around, you know?
Yeah,
so.
And that was the main reason why I asked you that question, because, you know, of course, you know, whether we experience it ourselves and other people as well that we know kind of experience the same thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially, you know, when we think like-minded and we genuine people that we operate that ourselves. So it's like, you know, sometimes people get to, you know, we just get to question people just how they move. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily about what they speak, but, you know, it's how they move character-wise.
But we got another question for you. How important is it for someone to pursue a career that they love versus work at a job that they hate?
That's the most important.
Yeah.
It's the very most important. I think it's the most important because I tried to tell my little sister this when she was much younger, of course. But before she ever started working, she wanted to have a job because she wanted to buy things. And I told her, I said, when you start working, you will work for the rest of your life until you don't have to. When you're doing something you love, they say you never work a day in your life. So, you know, if you're gonna earn, if you're gonna like move closer, because financial goals are important on some level, but you should do something you love, because in doing something you love, you will find that you will become the most fortunate.
Right.
Like,
what do you think stops people from being able to pursue those goals and career choices that are gonna be beneficial to their love for their career, but they stay away from them? What is the reason why they steer clear?
I think it depends on what you love, because there are some people who have passions that are very lucrative and they're like not quite as easy for people to accomplish, and those people to some degree are fine and they don't mind putting in the work. But then, like, let's say if you're a creative, there's so much risk, and the payment may come later rather than sooner, and you need relief sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Getting caught up in the cycle of trying to provide for yourself can be a serious impediment to being patient and waiting for those things to blossom, because it's like, I want to have things now, I want to drive a nice car now, I want to eat what I want to eat now. And creativity doesn't always pay right now.
Yeah. But see, you know, most of the time, the people who get paid off creativity is the people who got the money, because they're paying you to create.
True.
You know what I mean? So it's like, that's why it's harder for people to create and be able to take care of themselves as far as get whatever they want, because like you said, and you in the midst of sowing your seeds, and it takes time for those seeds to blossom. You know what I mean?
And you know what I think about too when it comes to creation, right?
Yeah.
If, let's say, when you truly give it some thought, God said that He created us in His image, and He was a creator. And if He was a creator and He created us in His image, that means that we ourselves are also creators too. So I feel like when we're creating in this life or the next or whatever, in any aspect, I think when we're creating, that's when we are our closest to God. I really truly believe that. Creation is our natural habitat.
Of course, but that's why they keep us on the loophole. Just like you said, working. You get distracted the whole time. You never get to that creative space. That's why a lot of people not really close to God now, because they can never get to that. It's hard for them to create.
That actually gives me a really great thought, because if the payout for creating comes later, then kind of like humanity on the whole, like we're still working at it. We're not in a place where it pays out for God. Like
Exactly.
we gotta get
true.
there.
I agree with that.
And I think he's patient with us most of the time.
His patience is infinite.
Yeah.
So it's gonna take us a
We
while.
have to have the same patience when it comes to our own creations.
Yeah.
Because just like, God is waiting on us, we gotta wait for the payout sometimes. But is it worth it? I truly believe so.
Yeah. I believe patience patience is a virtue.
Exactly. Patience is a virtue.
It's a gem that most people won't understand, because you gotta think, we live in a generation where everybody wants stuff now.
Yeah.
Everybody rather pay for the convenience rather than, you know what, I just wait. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think there are instances where that is good and instances where that is bad.
Correct.
Like, for example, my friend used to tell me, like, why would I pay to get the laundry done? And make no mistake, I'm not someone who, like, avoids chores or, like, minds cleaning up my home. I don't mind at all.
Right.
But, like, the hours it might take me to, like, do my laundry, I could probably make so much more money in that time. I'd rather pay. Like, it is someone's job. So I'm like, well, girl, in the 4 hours I would do this laundry, I would probably make X amount of, like, hundreds of dollars. And I was like, why? Why would I do that?
Exactly.
Yeah, so I think
time is
sometimes.
money, So I get the mindset of that.
Yeah, I think like you shouldn't pay for convenience. Like I think Neo recently said he'll pay for as many girlfriends as he can like afford.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what he said.
It's gonna be a lot of money, but
right. I think that's an instance like where you're abusing that.
Yeah.
So
pretty soon we're gonna see Neo Bank.
But some people don't really, they don't really know until like they have to go through it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because a lot of times, even if you do have somebody like a mentor who can kind of give you like, hey, listen, I'm gonna go down this road. These are the pros and the cons, and it's kind of get an idea like, is it worth it? You know what I'm saying? You choose to do it, it's on you. But I mean,
I think just the problem with stuff like that is like everything you get told. So anything you can buy, you get accustomed to. Like even with me getting my laundry done, like, even that gets old and it becomes a chore, and soon you're like, well, can somebody pick it up? I don't need to drop it off. And then like the convenience, you have to keep paying more and more to figure out how to make it convenient again.
Yeah, guess what? I kind of sell yourself short in the
Yes.
Yes. Exactly.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. It's kind of like, I don't know. Maybe I look at it different because it's just like, I appreciate even the hardship through certain things.
Yeah.
Right.
No, like doing my son's hair. So I could pay someone else to do his hair, like, although I know how, because it certainly doesn't like pay me to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's when we end up spending time together. It's when we have a lot of meaningful conversations. Sometimes we're just like watching cartoons together, but it's become a bonding experience for us, especially because kids now are so like involved in like their games and this and that. So a lot of times we're just passing each other by. But when I do his hair, we are spending time.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter how many hours it takes, we're spending hours at a time with each other. So that's one of those things like where you shouldn't avoid the hardship of it. Like I feel like right here now.
Yeah, seriously, I think convenience is the #1 killer in America.
Ooh.
Truly, because everybody wants fast money so they can go get fast food in a fast car to pick up fast women, just so they can die fast.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to fast. Everybody's focused on convenience. Can you pick this up for me? Uber Eats didn't make money off of having cars.
Right.
They made money off of convenience.
Yeah.
It's the same with any of the apps, Lyft. All of them made money off of convenience, middleman and convenience at that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because people, I learned, don't actually have a desire to grow often nowadays. The desire to grow has left us.
But
not as a whole, but in general, the desire to grow, because grow means change. And a lot of people like the same things. Everybody in our family eats the same foods that they've had.
Yeah.
And the reason why the same diseases pop up in similar families is because everybody's eating the same meals.
Yeah.
So it's that familiarity. That familiarity is what's keeping us back?
I think people have a natural inclination towards familiarity, but as it relates to growth, growth is painful. Like physiologically, growing is painful.
Yes.
And in any other sense, growth in general tends to be painful, and people like to avoid pain. And to tie it into what we were talking about earlier, I remember what I wanted to tell you is we kind of get caught in the game of it all of what is real and what is false. And if we're enjoying a moment or if we're pretending to enjoy a moment, and when you kind of get like all these factors, you try to avoid the pain and you try to project growth while avoiding the actual thing. And that's where, you know, convenience strikes. But pain is a good teacher. It's a fast teacher too.
Yeah.
You know, but
a lot of people don't like pain.
Who does?
It kind of reminds me of
That's
something in
what
my
it
head.
took for all of us. I really.
Yeah.
That's what it took for all of us to get here.
Yeah.
You know, it took pain. Our mom endured a lot of pain.
You
Even
tell
our
me.
father endured pain while she was holding his hand.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like when we think deeper, that's when we realize, okay, I know this is gonna hurt, but most good things do.
Now, you said something interesting. Our father endured a lot of pain. I think that was interesting because I hadn't even considered it.
Yeah.
But I think, like, in a patriarchy, in the socio norms in patriarchy involve kind of disregarding men's pain. And I know that sounds very, like, pick-me-ish, but it's not that.
Okay.
Like, because I don't subscribe to women who just say things like just for the attention of men or just to like agree with them to agree. But I do think there is a culture of being dismissive of men's pain, and a lot of like podcast guys, no offense, weaponize that. They weaponize it and they like make up all these scenarios in my mind that are not as prevalent as. Well, you know, I won't say they're not prevalent. I date men, so I don't experience that. So a lot of things like podcast guys say about women, I'm not one of those women. So to me, it's not realistic.
Sometimes it's just podcast guys.
I mean, but sometimes they could be right. I don't date women. So I have no idea how other women behave. I only know how I behave.
Absolutely.
Some of the things that you learned as you got older that you would go back and tell your younger self?
Enforce my boundaries more firmly. I think another construct of patriarchy is being passive, especially as a woman, like allowing the space for people to impose on your boundaries. So having a lot more boundaries for me, even in my interactions with other women, not just men, but in general, that would be a big one, because boundaries they're a fast show of where people are with you. Like, you ever notice how once you set a boundary, your relationship with people will change on the whole?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
when you're saying yes to everything, when you're so kind, when they make that joke that's not really a joke and you let it ride, like everything's fine. But when you be like, actually, you offended me. Actually, I can't like lend you this whatever dollar.
That's
Actually,
when the problems
But see,
I'm
but
not
see,
coming.
that's what you want though. I mean, I know people say, you know, I guess it could be an issue. You know what I'm saying? But not necessarily, because if it's for you, it's for you.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, you speaking for yourself. You stand up for yourself. So
I think like men are way better at that.
I think it comes with maturity, honestly. Like, if somebody's not mature and you place a boundary down, their automatic sense is going to be either to break that boundary down or go somewhere far away from that boundary.
Right.
The reason being is because people like freedom.
Yeah.
They don't like change. They don't like growth, majority of us. But we like freedom.
Ooh, yeah.
We love freedom. And we love freedom so much that the way that they penalize us is by taking away that freedom.
Yeah.
So I think when you have a mature relationship, whether it be male or female, when there's maturity at play, two people can tell each other, hey, I didn't like what you did past Thursday, and I wanted you to do this instead, and I'm bringing it to your attention now so we can come to an agreement and move forward. Mature person is going to automatically say, hey, you know what? I hear you. I agree with what you're saying, and I want to move forward in this relationship, so let's get past it. But somebody else is going to be like, what? And they're going to get defensive. Sad to say, that's maybe 80% of the world.
Yeah, that's more common than it is.
But I do feel like if we started telling the truth to each other more often, then the right people would be with the right people, like Keelan said.
You know, it's so funny. You gave me a really interesting thought when you started talking about freedom being taken away, because I think that your environment directly influences how you behave on a day-to-day basis.
Very true.
And when I think about, like, as a woman, I guess my mind is always going to, like, how I interact with people around me, in particular men. I guess maybe it's because I'm talking to two men. But but I think about, do you think that some men, especially men who view themselves as traditional, do you think that they impose these boundaries on freedom of the women that they're having these relationships with because in their environment, there are so many boundaries on their freedom?
That could be. What do you think about that?
No, you go first.
That could be. It depends on the guy, to be honest. But most of the time, it's in our upbringing, right? So I would consider myself a traditional man.
Okay.
I would prefer if I decided to tell my woman to do something and I spoke it to her in the proper manner.
Sure.
That I would expect her to respect my wishes because she respects me.
Right.
And truly, it's a thing of trust, you know?
Yeah.
If someone doesn't trust me, how can I possibly lead them anywhere?
Yeah.
Because they're always going to be asking questions of, why are we going this way? Why do I have to have my shoes on? Why are you parting the Red Sea? I want you to believe what I'm telling you and to go with it automatically. I don't want you to think that I'm misguiding you, because then I start thinking things that cause me to be like, you know what, I think I need to get away from this person because there's no trust. Every relationship should have trust.
Even
if it's not built off trust, it's not built off truth.
Yeah.
And so I think as a traditional man, I would say it's really all dependent on how we were brought up.
Now that's a hot take, because I feel like I could even go for that, but I think a lot of men break the trust, and then they break the trust by not telling the truth, and then they require it's me looking for what you're looking for. They break the trust and they don't tell the truth, and then they require you to follow them in a sense blindly. And it's so hard not to question someone, to your point, who you don't trust.
Yeah,
I mean, I can get it from that perspective.
Yeah,
but I mean, is that always the case though? You know what I mean?
No. I'm an inquisitive woman. Let's be clear. I can be very submissive, and I mean submissive in the sense that I think people misuse submissive. Submissive doesn't mean I don't have my own thoughts. Submissive doesn't mean I'm listening to you because I feel like I can't do something different. It's exactly the opposite thing. It's that, to your point, I trust you so much that I will set aside what I'm thinking and go along with what you're saying. I care for you so much that I'll do the thing you're asking me to do because I know this is how you're asking me to care about you.
Right.
It's not me being like a mindless zombie,
right.
You know, let me just do whatever he says because why not? Like, it's not that.
Yeah. I don't think there's many girls out there who are actually mindless zombies.
I disagree. It depends. It depends.
They may be calling you pick me.
No. I think pick-me's are the girls to me who are like, when men are like, yeah, women aren't even people. They're like cars. And they're like, yeah, women are like cars. And you know what men need? Men need 50 women. And they just need, you know what I'm saying? Like, go to hell.
Just outrageous.
Go directly to hell.
I'll take 50 cars over 50 women.
Man, what? On the street block though.
I'm just saying, because some of them just say the wildest stuff. And I'm just like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
But you gotta think of this perspective. I think more so people voicing their opinion now, it's not about the culture. It's not about how they actually feel.
Yeah.
People are really going by, they trying to get paid.
Yeah.
And the people who even looking to go either like so-called gender war, the male side or the female side, the people who are also creating this type of content and putting this chaos out there, they trying to get paid off of it. The same way how to you know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all might feel offended, but the church is historically poor. You know what I'm saying? We you know what I'm saying? We can go there too, but you know what I'm saying? It's just what it is. People want to hear what they want to hear and then pay just to hear it.
Ooh.
It goes back, I'm sorry.
No, go back.
It goes back to the thing you were saying earlier, right? About a man leading a woman, but he's doing things that she doesn't agree with, that he's telling her not to do. there's a word for it, just like for the church, and it's called a hypocrite.
Yes.
The churches, a lot of them, and I'm not speaking of all of them, but a lot of them are hypocritical because they're first of all, they're tax-free entities.
Right.
So these places are paying no taxes. If you want to look up a 501c3 certified in the IRS code, you can search that and it'll show you that they are tax-exempt entities. So all of this money that is getting used and abused and taken from the poor, it's literally and simply used to benefit them. But then they're going and telling these people, hey, give 10%. Hey, you didn't give today. And bring a 20 up to the altar. And they're holding them accountable, yet no one is holding them accountable.
Right.
And that's where that H word comes in, because you can't be a hypocrite and expecting someone else to hold up to your standards.
Right. You know what? That's a hot take. And as it relates to a church, especially prosperous ones, I think I would enjoy seeing more of their community like become prosperous. Like, because I see like a lot of pastors become quite prosperous, and there are members of the church who are prosperous via their individual efforts. But I do want to see, and I don't know, but I do want to see more of churches showing how they have grown their members into prosperous members of the community.
Exactly.
Like via the donations and the efforts of the church.
And that's one thing that I don't see too often, because there's been multiple churches that I've attended, as well as I have family members and such that have attended these places. And when it comes to needing something like a place to stay, food to eat, the simple things in life, I have to wait in a line. I have to fill out an application.
Yeah.
But I give you guys all of my money,
Right.
at least 10% of it, every time I come in here on Sunday.
Yeah.
Why is it that
There's no
I didn't make
resource
you
for
wait for my money?
Exactly.
Like Medea said, I didn't mail my work up in here. You ain't finna mail me my check.
You know, my mind is like, donate.
You
No question. Let me stop.
know, so it's like there should be mutual respect. Respect gives what respect gets.
Yeah, but like I said, it's still though, it's like people just want to be tickled by what they want to hear. Not
True.
just what they need to hear.
I think, but this is true of a lot of men who want a traditional woman, a submissive woman. They are breaking their word. They're hypocritical. It's like, if you tell me something and this thing is untrue, like at this point, you've shaken everything I believe about you. Like when you lied about this one thing, you didn't break my trust about only the one thing. You have broken my trust, period. So now, when you tell me like, hey baby, actually, you know, we're gonna make it out the hood this way, or we're gonna do this, we're gonna like, nah, I don't even believe, like you can't even tell me the truth about the things that are free. Now you want me to like follow you into, you know, oblivion or trust you or whatever. Like how? If we're Bonnie and Clyde, you can't lie.
Yeah.
If we're not Bonnie and Clyde, if we're the wolf and wolfish of Wall Street, like
But see that
you gotta level with me. Like if we locked in, don't switch up, because now once you do that, I can never truly follow you. I can't follow you without being like, do you know what you're talking about? Let me send somebody else my location before we go, because I can't trust him.
Right.
I may get there, there may be another woman at the finish line waiting to like push me off a cliff. Like at this point.
And that's fair enough.
But I mean, you have to really get to know the person you're dealing with. Just anybody, your family, your relatives. I mean, that's just
You ever
anybody.
know anyone?
I mean, yeah. And that's new time.
Sometimes that's
Yeah, I
what
mean,
it is, too.
you want to give people the benefit of the doubt, but the thing is, like, everybody has their flaws, but it's up to you to find out what it is, because a lot of times people don't be looking for it.
Men are different people when they've not yet met their financial goals. Like, I swear to God, I was dating a guy, he got $1 raise. I had a new man. I swear to God.
What?
I was like,
$1
$1
Who are
raise?
you?
What is like an extra, what, $40, $50 a week?
If you, a guy was driving my Uber one time, and he said, oh, you know, you're a parent, and so you're not quite as valuable, and la la la, and guys with money this, and guys with money that. And I thought this was really funny advice coming from my Uber driver, because I'm like, I don't know any Uber driver who's particularly affluent, but what I said was, you know, men with money don't worry about problems they can solve. I was like, as someone, you know, who's dated a few men, I guess, this is not realistic.
Yeah.
But I think like men, when they have not yet met their financial goals, like when they haven't had a chance to like how guys like say about like rappers and celebrities, they're like, oh, well, they have so many women they can talk to, and all that. Like when a guy's not at that place yet,
Mm-hmm.
you have not got the real version of him.
Mm.
Like you think you do, and you do.
Yeah.
The guy who hasn't met his financial achievement yet, he is serious. He does appreciate you for cooking and maybe helping pay the bills if you're like this type of person, or you know whatever it is you're doing. Maybe you're doing everything. Maybe you're doing like whatever you can do or whatever he asks of you, and he's appreciative of that. But then, you know, he gets a raise, he gets a deal, he gets a whatever, and you have a whole new person.
I can explain that. So there's two different types of men.
Yeah.
I was finna say the same thing. I know
Hey.
you finna go. I know exactly where you finna go.
Two different types of men. Like we were
Okay.
talking about earlier, the traditional man, you know, he believes in God, he has morals, he has a code that he lives by. And then you got that guy.
God, come
That
on, bro.
guy.
Let's just keep it 100, bro. Let's just keep it
You know what?
100, bro.
that guy.
Hey,
Life recent event, homeboys ain't loyal.
Yeah.
Men, y'all codes. You guys codes are codes until it's time to play the cross.
no,
That's,
we don't really.
that's
We ain't
that
never
guy.
scared men like that. See, that's the. See, it's two types of guys.
We gotta remember, it's that guy.
That guy.
That,
The
Yeah.
squeaky guy.
that guy. Now him in his mindset, he thinks he's the head honcho, he's the alpha, but in his heart, he's still a little boy.
Ooh.
And whenever something good happens in his life, because he's not used to it, that's when his true character comes out. So it's not as if he changed. He only got more courageous in who he truly is when
Right.
that check hit.
But
that's
you
why.
don't know that.
Right.
I've
But
known
also,
you for years.
see, and when it comes to, let's say, the guy that's not like that,
Yeah.
and then some money hits or whatever, most of the time when he's leading this woman on the path wherever they're going, the woman thinks that she's just watching him and she's being led by him and she's seeing how he is.
Yeah.
At that same time that he's leading, he's looking back at you and seeing how you're moving. Look at that, that's confirmation. So he's seeing how you're moving. That guy, he has been looking back the entire time. Also watching your characteristics, watching your movements. While we're on this journey to get to where I need to be, how have you been acting?
Yeah.
Who are you really?
Yeah.
And I'm studying your emotions. I'm studying who you are. And along the line, I'm seeing, okay, I actually do not respect that about her. Or I appreciate all these things she's done for me, but she cannot buy her way to be with me through doing those things. She also has to be in her heart who I expect her to be. And I can only teach so much. I don't need another kid, or I don't need a child. I don't have no kids. I don't need a child.
Right.
I'm looking for a partner.
Yeah.
So oftentimes when those do happen with the traditional man, not that guy.
Right.
When it does
Guy.
happen with with that guy. When it does happen with the traditional man, it's because he's noticed along the way a few flaws that just topple the scales too much. And then he realizes, okay, now I have the option to leave. And usually he tries and lets her down easy or tell her the truth.
Yeah.
And the main thing is that guy he'll tell you along the way the whole time.
But no, leave now. Like,
No.
don't leave now that you have the option. Leave
Some
now.
guys have faith that you'll fix it.
Yeah, because it's like,
But some people know you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
yeah.
And you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
But we talking about as far as like,
That's
this is a man under God. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
sure.
So, as far as that you saying the other person not appreciate you, I mean,
Yeah.
you gotta think as well. Like, yeah, they appreciate that person at the time, but you also gotta think it go back to, was that person genuine from jump?
right.
You know what I mean? Because like, do they truly really enjoy being around you? Just things of that nature.
Yeah.
If you're not really getting that type of vibe or consistency in that, you know, just relationship, just knowing that person, I mean, this person just trying to get whatever he can and move on to the next person who probably do the same thing. Because there's more people out there. Like, we gotta think, we can't kick it at like, living now is easy.
Okay, we have some current events that we would like to talk about. Basically, it's gonna go, I say a phrase, and then you just respond in one word, whatever comes to mind.
Okay.
And then right after, you can explain it. All right. Young Thug.
Free. Yes, I'm glad Young Thug is free. I think that so many times, like, Black American men are unfairly and in a great multitude, like, penalized for things that not only other people do, but like I've seen worse people get away with more. So whether he did or did not do what he's accused of, I'm just glad that he's free, and I'm glad that he gets to enjoy his freedom, because I think, you know, we just don't get enough. So free.
Jeffrey.
Right.
You want to give her the next one?
Oh, Lil Durk.
Oh, traitors. Bros ain't loyal.
These bros ain't loyal.
I'm telling you, it's the truth. It's the truth. They do this bros over hoes thing, but you know who's holding you down? Like the girl who you loved all that. This is not who's wearing the wire. This is not who's telling on you. The person who's at the club with you, in the studio with you, who you take it everywhere and you're revering them so much.
Yep.
This is who's doing that. So, yep, traitors.
Yeah.
So you guys gotta focus and make sure that you loving the one that's loving you. Not just
hanging
being
around
so
you.
loyal to where you ignoring the things that are right in front of your face.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, Buddy have been locked up for 12 years, so you can't really say that's his dog for real, 'cause he ain't been around him for real, you know what I'm saying?
And yeah,
So it's like, you can't say that's
right
his
there.
bro, you get what I'm saying? I can see it like it was his actual brother, like who he grew up with, but he just probably the dude of the neighborhood. Like, I mean, dudes in the neighborhood who I grew up with, they probably look at me like bro, but I ain't finna look at them like bro,
But
like
see,
my brother.
They're right there, close enough to get you in trouble, close enough to ruin your whole life, to destroy your legacy and everything you built. And who's at home? The person who you told they can't come with you. Oh, this not for you. This for the bros. This for the boys.
Right.
But see, I ain't gonna lie, it's like you gotta be self-accountable in that too, though. I mean, they got your wiretapping and all that. I mean, you gotta hold yourself accountable.
You gotta watch what you
know what I'm
say.
saying? You gotta watch what you say and do.
But a lot of times too, it is you kind of have to realize like she actually deserves to be here more than them. If it's in this situation, sometimes
Bros
the
ain't
woman
loyal, bro.
does deserve to be in a position where y'all have worked so hard together, and then when it's time for an achievement, she's got to stay at home. So I do get what you're saying when it comes to that. And sometimes it just got to be the brothers, you know?
Yeah.
But, and it should be an understanding between both. And a lot of times, I think we neglect treating a woman how she treats us.
I agree with that, but I'm saying like we talking about like it's a Lil Durk situation.
Yeah.
So it's, like, it's way different.
Traitors, beware.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's a whole different situation. Like
You gotta watch the people around you.
Anybody
can work.
Anybody around you, but like I said, you gotta know yourself first. Like that's gonna tell you everything.
Straight facts. All right.
Yeah.
Thank y'all so much for coming. We appreciate y'all, and a special thanks to Ezra for being a part of our first episode. We appreciate you guys so much for watching, and we'll see y'all on episode 2.
So enjoy life, y'all.
Enjoy life.
Peace.
Let us make money, I'm feeding the hungry. The way I pull up with the bread. I ain't got no wallet, my shot need polish. I pull up to make a deposit. The Lord is my witness, I'm building a business. A couple of minutes, just watch it.